What's up, y'all? It's John Master Lee here. All right, another game trailer for a game that was not something I was planning to invest myself heavily into, but this pandemic has changed my mind. You see, I've been stuck at home just like all of you all, and the one game that has become a saving grace during this lockdown for me is Hitman. Hitman 1 and Hitman 2. I think I invested more hours into these two games than any other game in the last couple of months. I got hooked playing as Agent 47 here. Yeah, the game's that good. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying it was the perfect recipe of being able to, well, feel like you're kind of out in the real world exploring, doing whatever, and playing it over and over again. I swear, I think I played every single mission about a dozen times. And quite frankly, I did not always have this sort of impression for this game series. I first jumped into Hitman when the first game came out like 20 some years ago, a really freaking long time ago. And the concept, while cool, it hasn't really changed over the years. Like the core concept has always been about taking out an objective as an assassin and be able to do it any way you want. Well, that first game it didn't quite hit the mark when it came to gameplay. The game was really poorly reviewed. The controls were just clunky. The game lacked enough information and visual cues to kind of tell you what's going on in the world, so you really didn't know like where to go, what to do, how things were progressing. And even though it was a game where you're supposed to be able to take any route to an assassination, the truth was that it always felt like there was only one right route. Because if you tried all these different things, it would just be like an instant game over. You failed, you got killed, you got detected, you got something that made me basically rage quit after a couple hours, and I had not gone back to the series ever since then. Honestly, I just didn't care for the series after the next couple iterations. Granted, I was shocked that they even made a sequel, but I was always impressed that with each new iteration, it sounded like the game was getting better and better. You saw the review scores gradually going up to like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, settling around between, 7 to 8 out of 10, but never being a perfect, 9 or 10 type of game. Despite the fact that I always loved the concept. But this goes to show you that, if you support a developer who is committed to a concept like this, with each new iteration, they can continue to fine tune and get it just right. And finally, after all these years, I think they really nailed it with the latest Hitman 2. I mean, the formula for assassinations now is just really fine tuned. There's just enough vagueness and open-endedness for you to want to explore and try a lot of different routes, knowing that if you explore far enough, there's some payoff. And there are now a lot of different ways to set up some really cool type of assassinations, and when you do pull it off, it feels so good. In fact, it's the one game that my wife has said that whenever I'm playing, she wants to stop whatever she's doing and just come over and watch, because it feels like watching a movie. It feels like you're actually out there making these choices of what do I do? And the uncertainty of that was enticing, but the payoff was equally great. So yeah, that's high praise for a game like Hitman 2. They nailed the mission design. They nailed the world design. Oh, I love the narration in that game too. And there's still a little bit of clunkiness. There's a little bit of control issues. Sometimes I would still do things that wasn't intended because I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, because the control schemes are a little bit different than most typical third-person action games of the same nature. But now, at least, if you screw up, it always feels like there's a way to recover and to go about your business in another route. It didn't feel like you had to start all over with a hard reset. All right, so leads us to Hitman 3. One of the surprise announcements recently when Sony was showcasing all their games for the new PlayStation 5, and this was one of the games that caught my eye. And this latest trailer is all about showcasing a new mission. So let's check out this new mission here.
There's been a death at Thornbridge Manor.
Oh, I love her voice.
An apparent suicide. The door locked from the inside.
Oh.
But this was a murder.
This is gameplay graphics. It's definitely a step up from part 2.
You little backstabbing prick!
The family has a dark past.
This almost feels like a whodunit.
The manor is full of old secrets.
Oh my god, this totally is like a whodunit type of mystery.
Any one of them could be the killer. Our target has hired the best detective
Oh, I like it.
of our generation to solve the crime. An excellent opportunity to get close. Don't you think, 47?
I love it. Now this was unexpected. Totally unexpected. I was just going to be happy if they gave me more missions to play. Like, you know, just stick to Hitman 2 and continue to add on new missions to that, because their whole game right now is based around this, you know, episodic content type of approach, right? Where everything's up in the cloud so that if they wanted to add a new mission, they could just update the existing game and boom, you can start playing it. Everything could work that way. But no, it looks like they've upgraded the engine quite a bit here. I can see why they decided to go with Hitman 3. And this type of mission here is very, very interesting. It looks like it's still based around classic Hitman gameplay, right? About an assassination, about figuring out the best route to take out a subject matter. But this whodunit type of thing, I mean, it's going to add in a new type of gameplay and storytelling that is really pushing the envelope from their current mission structure, I think. I mean, if you're old school, you might be going, they got Agatha Christie in my Hitman. And if you're new school, you might be going, well, they got some Knives Out gameplay flavor going on here. Hey, you know, either way, love this more than peanut butter on my chocolate. Talk about timing, because I just saw the trailer for Death on the Nile. But yeah, it's based on an Agatha Christie book. And yeah, it's got that classic whodunit type of flavor and mystery that's in the movies that, you know, looks like this is what they're inspired by. It's funny because I only read one Agatha Christie book, and I read it back when I was in 6th grade. Yeah, trust me, it was not a fun read. And the only reason I even read it was because my best friend at the time loved Agatha Christie and all the different characters that she created. He was so into it. And yeah, he was a, you know, super nerd to say the least. I eventually got into the Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys to me was kind of more my jam. I mean, honestly, I think that's probably something that fits a lot better for a 6th grader. And I think I read through every single Hardy Boys book, maybe like the first 50 or 60 novels that were put out there. And I even kept track of it, of like a spreadsheet that I had of each book that I read. This is going to be awesome. I don't want to speculate here. I don't want to push the expectation too far, but if they decided to take each mission structure in Hitman 3 and add a new twist to it, this could be the game where they finally shoot for a 10 out of 10 review score. In other words, it might be so inspired, it might be so original that the series has finally come to a close. And they are saying that this storyline that they've been running through Hitman 1, 2, and 3 is coming to a close as well. I'm really looking forward for, you know, a beautiful culmination here. Let me know what you all think. This looks real good, man. Real, real good.